Hello. All right, I'm headed out to run some errands, and I just wanted to do a quick live. Let's see who is available. And if you miss this live, you can always check out the replay. I always, for the most part, save my lives. For those of you who are not able to join live, that's perfectly fine. That's what replay is for. And a lot of these lives end up on my YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, head over there, check that out. Lots of great stuff over there. There's lots of videos over there that I don't post or put here on Instagram. I am considering starting a Patreon. I technically have anything with it, but I'm considering having courses. Okay, sorry about that. It pulls away from the internet and it stops, but I'm considering having all of my courses and my lives and all of the coaching sessions over on Patreon. So I don't know, let me know what you think about Patreon, if you are a member of any Patreons, and what do you think about that? So today I'm gonna turn down. Okay, sorry. I had the air just blowing in the back, and nobody's back there. Today, I want to talk a little bit about pet peeves versus deal breakers. So, I was working with a coaching client the other day, and I was surprised to find out that some of the things she was listing as deal breakers were actually pet peeves. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about this. And it's funny because when I've done my want, my don't want, and my needs list, so if you're not familiar with the self-discovery relationship tool, it is where you are going to create 3 lists so that you can get clear on the person who is the best fit for you. So the first list is I want. Have fun with that list. Put any and everything your heart desires on the I want list, because you're probably not going to get most of it. Sorry. The second list is I don't want. Tell us what you don't want in a relationship and in a person. So everything as far as the characteristics of that person, just things about them. It could be physical attributes, whatever. Tell us what you don't want. And then the last list, the most important list, is the I need list, where you are going to really dive deep and you're going to focus on what you need to be your best self in a healthy relationship, what you need in a healthy partner, to feel loved, to feel cherished, to feel safe and secure. That's what your I needs list is for. You're going to focus more on what you need as opposed to what you want, okay? But those are the 3 lists. I call it the self-discovery relationship tool. So when I went back to mine and I went to the don't wants, I said, there might be some things on here that are pet peeves as opposed to deal breakers. So I had to run through that list again and really narrow down, okay, yeah, maybe I put some pet peeves on here that aren't deal breakers. So a pet peeve is something that it's probably a petty thing, but it may not be. It may not be a petty thing. It may be something that truly irks you to the point of being a deal breaker. So for some people, here's something that might be a pet peeve, but for me, it's a deal breaker. So for some people, they may say, oh, this guy that I'm dating, he has this way of communicating that's really passive aggressive. And so for that, I would say, at least for me personally, yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. I can't go there. Like, there's something about a person who does not know how to effectively communicate their needs that is just something I am not willing to tolerate or accept. I just can't. And especially as a grown woman. So I'm 54, I am grown, okay? And I have taken those 54 years to really sit with myself, do my work, learn how to communicate with people assertively, effectively. Like, I put in a lot of work into that. I do not abandon myself anymore. I let people know, that's not going to work for me. And I feel like because I've done all that work, I should have someone who is about that same life. Okay. So that's something that while other people may see it as a pet peeve, it is definitely a deal breaker for me. I do not like men, especially men, that communicate in a way that is passive aggressive. It is such a turnoff to me, beyond what I could ever imagine. I can't do it. And the thought of being with someone like for the rest of my life who communicates in such a way is just such a complete and total turnoff. So yeah, that's on my list. And yeah, it's a deal breaker and a pet peeve. Okay. But there were some other things on the list that I was like, okay, is this just a pet peeve? Like, really, Anita, is this what you're doing? Because this might not be a deal breaker, but maybe it's just a pet peeve. And so I really started thinking about that and looking into that. And I was like, yeah, some of the stuff, So a man's poor table manners, things like using toothpicks at the table, it's a pet peeve for sure. But is it a deal breaker? And you know what? The one thing on the list, which, I do not like, and everyone who knows me knows this about me, I do not like beards. I do not like beards, y'all. I do not like beards. And I said, this is probably not a deal breaker, because there are men right now that I'm dating and they have beards. And as much as I would love to see their clean shaven face, they're great guys. They're amazing men. So I'm like, okay, Anita, really? You're going to reject this man because he has a beard? Like, it's a pet peeve. It's something that you don't like, but at the end of the day, it's not a deal breaker. And I mean, I'm dating two men that are great guys. And I'm like, girl, you being dumb. You being stupid, okay? And there is a chance that if, y'all end up madly in love and y'all end up married, that man may surprise you at the altar by shaving his face for you. And even if he didn't, you would marry him. Okay, so get over it. But that was something that was on the don't wants list, was a beard. I don't like beards. Like, I'm just being honest. I don't like beards. I don't like men with beards. But upon further consideration, I realized that it was just a pet peeve. It was not a deal breaker. So I had to mark through it. I had to take it off the don't wants, because the don't wants are deal breakers. The don't wants are things that we don't want, and we're not going to accept or tolerate them. So I had to go back through my list, y'all, and there were some things on there that I was like, okay, Anita, these are not deal breakers. They're pet peeves. And I had to mark through a couple of them. So yeah, I like a man that is very physically active. I like a man that, has muscles, not an exorbitant amount of muscles, but, I want to be able to feel something hard against my something soft. And, I love it that a man goes to the gym regularly, he lifts weights, whatever, right? But I realized, okay, this is, it's a pet peeve. If a man isn't doing that, it's not a deal breaker. Right? A deal breaker for me is an obese man. That's a deal breaker, right? A deal breaker for me is a man who is not healthy. Like, he's not taking care of his health. He's not eating well. He's just not taking care of himself. That's definitely a deal breaker, because I don't want to end up with someone who is unhealthy, someone who is sickly. And remember, sickly in terms of his health and his lack of doing the things to stay healthy is what got him there. I'm not talking about an accident. I'm not talking about a health diagnosis that he could not help. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone that the way they eat, their lack of, exercise, or they're not going to the doctor, these things that they're doing that could have been prevented is the reason why they're in the health that they're in. Those are definitely no-nos. Those are no-nos. But I'm not talking about he's doing everything, to take good care of himself and he has a cancer diagnosis. I'm definitely not talking about that. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about pet peeves. Ladies, do you have any pet peeves? And remember, these are things that, while you may not like and you may not want in a man, it's not a deal breaker. Think about your pet peeves. Okay, think about your pet peeves. So, I love a man who reads, right? I'm really into men who are readers, or they listen to books on Audible. I'm really into men who are all about personal growth. That's my thing. However, if I met a man and he's like, I'm not a huge reader. I have other ways of kind of doing my personal growth thing, but I'm not a big reader. I asked myself, is that a deal breaker? And the answer was no. Same with men who write. I love a man who can express himself through writing. And I said, okay, but you've dated men who, they didn't express themselves through writing. So clearly that's not a deal breaker. But yeah, it's a pet peeve if you don't know how to express yourself well through writing. So, but it's not a deal breaker. Okay. Can deal with an uncouth, can or can't? You said can deal with an uncouth, rude man. Is that a pet peeve? So you cannot deal with an uncouth, rude man. Is that a pet peeve? I mean, I think kindness is a necessity. So if he's not kind, and if he's unkind, I consider that a deal breaker. That's not a pet peeve. That's a deal breaker. But uncouth or rude, I got to think about that. Yeah. Okay. She said cannot. Yeah. I got to think about that because, like I said, there are some men that have some table manners, lack of table manners that, I'm not thrilled by, but it was not a deal breaker. So I don't know. And then give me a deal breaker. What's a deal breaker? So for me, smoking of any kind is a deal breaker. And ladies, even the occasional, like going to the cigar bar, that's a deal breaker for me. I do not want a man who smokes anything of any kind. And I had to really sit with that. I had to really, really sit with that because I was like, man, I've been meeting some amazing men. I actually met an amazing man here in Richmond who owned a cigar bar. And I was like, nope. I was like, nope, can't do it. If he smokes anything of any kind, so marijuana, cigars, cigarettes, or anything else, that's a deal breaker. I can't do it. I can't have my clothes smell like it, my hair smell like it. I can't have your breath smell like it. Yuck. I can't do it. So that is definitely a deal breaker for me. Another deal breaker for me, and again, I met a really great man who we had a lot in common, and we had great conversation, and we had fun together. But he did not know the Lord like that. And I was like, can't do it. And even so look, y'all, I knew he must have been sent from the devil. Because look, he's trying to talk me into, so you're gonna miss out on a great guy. You're gonna miss out on the man who could be your husband because you all are not of the same faith. I'm like, that man not my husband. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. That's how I knew the devil sent that man. That man is not my husband. If he don't know God like I know God, and he don't have to be in the same level that I'm at, but if he not submitting to Jesus, that man is not my husband. So how I'm gonna submit to him and he's not submitted to anything above him? No, come on, get out of here, sir. He tried, y'all. He really did. But that's how I knew it was nothing but the devil. And sometimes I want y'all to keep this in mind. If you're a person of faith, the devil will send you what looks to be a really good man. And you'll be thinking, oh my gosh, finally, this is my man. Look closer. Inspect that fruit closer. Because this guy, everybody said it. Oh, and he's so great. I can't believe you didn't exclusively date him. I can't believe you're not considering him. No, y'all, he don't know God like that. He don't know God like that, y'all. And y'all not finna tell me that's my husband. Because God has already given me some things. He's like, he gonna be like this. He gonna have this. Like, God has already given me the blueprint. And so he don't know God. He don't know Jesus like that. But y'all be on the lookout because the devil is slick. He'll send you somebody that'll he'll almost be everything. And then you'll figure out, oh no, not that. not that. That's not mine. So just be careful of that. You should say counterfeit versus godsend. I know that's right. Hi, Keely. All right, we're talking about pet peeves versus deal breakers. I want you to share some of your pet peeves, things that may drive you crazy, but it's not a deal breaker. And then share some of your deal breakers. So one of my pet peeves is I don't like beards. I just said that. I don't like beards. I don't prefer or like beards, but it's not a deal breaker. My deal breaker is smoking of any kind. Okay. No, not even the occasional cigar bar smoker. No, a smoker of any kind is a deal breaker. I got to think of another pet peeve. I have several. Like, a pet peeve of mine is I dated a guy that he ate late. Like, that drives me bonkers. Men who want to take you out at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. People who want to do stuff late, that's a pet peeve. That's a pet peeve. I'm not going to lie. I'm not leaving my house to go anywhere, past 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm not. Again, I'm grown. And, all the fun we going to have happen before 11. That means we got to be there by 8 o'clock, So, nah, I'm not leaving the house at 10 o'clock, 10:30. But I did date a man that I kid y'all not, he would come over at 9 o'clock wanting to take me out. I was like, bruh, I'm grown. I ain't going nowhere at no 9 o'clock, 9:30. Starting the night. See, that was 20-year-old me. 20-year-old me started the night at 11 p.m. Them days is long over. Okay, I'm grown. I got businesses. I got, adult things to do at 7 o'clock a.m. All right, I got places to be at 7 a.m., 8 a.m. I got workouts. I got clients in the morning. I'm not starting no night at 10 o'clock at night. That's not happening. That's a pet peeve. It's not a deal breaker. Because every now and again, he would show up. We would go out. We would eat. We would have a late meal. It would drive me bonkers, but I would do it every now and again. I didn't do it every night because I was like, nope, that's not going to happen. But every now and again, I would do it. We would have a late meal and it would just drive me crazy. It would throw off my intermittent fasting, but I would do it. I would just starve myself until 9 o'clock and then he would show up and we would go out and have a late dinner. So, but that was his thing. And that was definitely a pet peeve of mine, so, okay, let me see. She says snoring pet peeve. Yeah. Is it a deal breaker? Could you marry someone who snored? Yeah. Ooh, Lord. Lord. Okay. Pet peeve, chewing with your mouth open. Ooh, yeah. I was always raised to chew with my mouth closed, for sure. That's for sure a pet peeve. Oh, she said I'm in my pajamas. I know that's right. Okay, so that's 10. Yeah. Ooh, Lord. But that would drive me bonkers, y'all. And like I said, we dated for 2 years, but that was typical. He stayed up late, he slept in late, and it just used to drive me crazy. But again, not a deal breaker. And that's definitely something we would have to create workarounds if we were to be together and get married. Because 10 o'clock, I'm done. I'm in the bed. My phone's on do not disturb. I'm a 10 p.m. type of gal. So, pet peeves versus deal breakers. So what's a deal breaker? For those of you who shared a pet peeve, what is a deal breaker that you have? What is something that you will absolutely not accept or tolerate? She said you eliminate a snore or bad manners. Okay. Yeah, but it's a lot of people that snore. So, and it depends on how loud the snore is. And it's funny, now that I think about it, it's interesting you say snore because I don't think I've ever dated a snorer. Huh. And I remember telling someone that years ago and them saying, wow, you're really lucky. I said, yeah, I don't think I've ever dated a snorer. Okay. Deal breaker, inability to manage money. Okay. All right. And so what would that look like? How would you know that if he has an inability to manage money? I would say someone who's always broke, someone whose lights are getting turned off or they're not paying their bills on time, for sure. I agree with that. Deal breaker, poor hygiene and long nails. Yeah. Ooh, Lord, y'all, the poor hygiene. I can't do it. And it's a lot of men out here, like I said, and they want you to take them home and clean them up and get them looking right. But it's just it's basic things that, come on now. And again, if you my age, you grown, and you don't know that you know, supposed to use deodorant. You don't know that you're supposed to brush your teeth. You don't know that you're supposed to shower. Come on. It's just some things that I'm just like, dude, no. Because again, I don't want to be someone's mother. I want to be your lover. I want to be your woman. I'm not your mother. I'm not sitting here telling you about how to groom yourself. Gross. All right. She said a procrastinator is a deal breaker for me. Okay. I'm trying to get better with my procrastinating. So, okay. So he is, and he might be doing more talking than doing. And that is a tough one. A man who's like, yeah, I'm going to talk about it and not be about it. That's a hard one. Deal breaker, smoking, braids, locks, twists, long hair. Okay. Some women love a man with locks, but I get it. I don't know. I'm trying to ask myself how I would feel about that. A man whose hair is longer than mine, because y'all know I got short hair. So I don't know. I have to really ponder that. How would I feel about a man whose hair is longer than mine, or if he had locks and they were long? Yeah, I don't know. I want to say that's not for me. Would it be a deal breaker? That's something to think about. Okay. She says, I think I do as far to say I want to share financial values. I'm frugal. Okay. Then I understand. I understand. I totally understand. We are talking about pet peeves versus deal breakers. I'd love it if you listed some of your pet peeves, things that you don't like, they annoy you, versus deal breakers. I can't date this person long term. I couldn't marry this person. Something that they're doing that I just will not accept or tolerate. All right. She says, deal breaker is heavy drinker. Oh, for sure. For sure. Anyone who has a problem with alcohol is a no. It's substances, period. And I would say substance user. I don't mind a man who has an occasional drink, but substance abuser, y'all, that's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, substance abuser is an absolute no, and that's drugs or alcohol. That's a no. She said, girl, they instantly turn you into their stylist and want you to do their hair all the time. I don't mind, but I don't do my own hair, and I'm not going to do yours. I know that's right. Lord. She says, I'm talking about a procrastinator with everything. Getting up late, like you mentioned, not paying the bills on time, not being places on time, that type of procrastinator. Yeah, oh, Lord. Hello, Bernadette from New Jersey. Ooh, okay, but that's a tough one, because it's hard to be with someone who's so unreliable. Like, ew. And that's not a good quality in a man, right? You want to look up to your man. You want to admire your man. And if you can't, that's going to be tough. She says, I have short hair, so I wouldn't mind a man with locks or long hair. Okay, good. Because there's some sexy men with locks now. That's why I was like, I got to think about that. Okay. I got to think about how I feel about that. Okay. Cheating. Ooh, you ain't said nothing. And cheating of any kind. Like, let's go here. I dated a man for a few months and found out he had not paid his taxes in 8 years. So, no. He was cheating the government, wasn't paying his taxes. No, cheating of any kind. Stealing of any kind, right? That is a total turnoff, and it is a deal breaker. It speaks to a man's character. So, cheating for sure. Okay, pet peeve, messy. Yeah, okay. But it's not a deal breaker, right? And I've dated many a messy man. And to me, it's not a deal breaker. Can I go here? I've dated many a dirty man, and I still wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. We'd have to hire a housekeeper for sure, and he'd have to have a place where he could put his mess, but I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker. Deal breaker is a slob. Unless he's putting up the money for a maid, I cannot. Yeah, I say we definitely have to have a housekeeper. A liar is a deal breaker. Okay. I understand. Because again, if you can't trust the person, that's a huge deal breaker. If everything you tell me, I have to decipher whether it's the truth or not. Nope. Deal breaker, unlawful behavior. I agree. And y'all, let me tell y'all this. For years and years, my girlfriends, they used to get on me because I feel a way about a man that has a felony or has any, like, you know, any charges. Like, I feel a way. That's just, that ain't for me. Like, I lead a clean, straight and narrow life, and I need a man to do the same. But they would feel a way. Like, they would call themselves trying to introduce me to a friend of a friend or a cousin, and that person had a felony. I was like, no, don't do that. And they're like, oh, why you so bougie? Why you so stuck up? Okay, yes, call me that. Call me suburban life all day. Call me straight and narrow. Because no, I'm not interested in that. And men who have felonies, like, that affects their life in more ways than one. That doesn't work for me. I'm not trying to judge anybody, especially if you've turned your life around, but that does not work for me. So, but I've had plenty of people get on me about that. Oh, that's so wrong. And he changed his life. And why you? I said, no, but that's just not for me. Some people consider flirting cheating, inappropriate behavior, but not cheating. I agree. And depending on the person, right? Flirting can be all kinds of things, right? So if a man smiles too much, some women don't like that. If a man calls a woman sweetheart, you know how some, especially down here in the South, y'all, I'm just going to be honest. Down here in the South, men like to use those pet names, and they use them with everybody. So if you that type of woman that like feel a way about that, be careful of these Southern men, because they do. They just call everybody the pet name, sweetheart, honey, you know, they call everybody that. The waitress, the girl seating them at the table, like everybody. They're in the store, like, hey, sweetheart, can you help me with? Like, they use that with everybody. So don't date a Southern man, because if you feel a way about that, like that's just how they are. I've learned how to ignore it as a Northerner. I've learned how to ignore it. I've learned not to take it as, oh my gosh, you know, he must like her. They don't. Like, that's just what they do. So that's just something, you know, that I have learned. But we are talking about pet peeves versus deal breakers. You must know the difference. Okay? I'm trying to think another one of my pet peeves and another one of my deal breakers. So a deal breaker for me is violence of any kind. Any kind of violence. And it could be verbal violence, right? A man doesn't have to put his hands on me, but if he's like screaming aggressively at me, cussing, y'all, when I tell you, Anita will disengage so fast, like so fast. And look, men be calling me, texting me, coming by. Oh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it the way I said it. No, you get one chance. You get one chance to raise your voice or curse at me. I am very sensitive to that. Very sensitive. Because to me, it's like, as a man, you should know better than to talk to a woman any kind of way. And it just, to me, is, you know what it says to me? You ain't got no home training. Like, you don't have no home training if you get upset and you come to cussing me clean out. Like, you see me, you see that you talking to a woman. I have zero toleration for the cuss out. Zero toleration for screaming, yelling, the aggressive stance. Zero. That is a straight up deal breaker. And y'all need to make it y'all's zero tolerance deal breaker too. I see too many women. And then you know what you do? You try to one up it. The man is screaming and yelling and you start screaming and yelling. The man is cussing and you start cussing. I will never come out of my character. I will never come out of my feminine. Ever. I will get quiet. I will shut down right in that moment. And then I will completely disengage. I will disconnect from you. The end. We're done. Don't bother calling me no more. Don't think you're going to get through texting me. You're not going to see my stories. You're going to be blockety blocked. Okay? I have zero tolerance for aggression or violence from a man. 0. And y'all, let me go here. I've had incidences where I've been with a man and we've been out and something happened that got him fired up. And even if he did that with someone else, like if I'm his date and he come to cussing somebody else clean out, man or woman, I'm done. I'm done. Like I've lived on this earth too long. And when I see it, I'm done. I'm good. I'm good. So y'all need to have that same energy. That if that man ever cuss you clean out, raise his voice, talk aggressively, take any kind of aggressive stance, you need to be all the way done. Okay, she says that's the majority mindset and you're going to be correct 90% of the time. However, somebody is going to miss out on a hell of a man with that mindset. But again, oh no, this is a gentleman. But again, it's a good rule of thumb, the felon. Yeah. I'm gonna miss out. I'm gonna miss out. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to miss out on that one. Cause that, like I said, I'm squeaky clean and I need someone similar. Like I can be honest. I need the goody two shoes. Like, so I get it. I get it though. That was a gentleman. Yeah, she said, yep, no abusive behavior. Big red flag. He should know, but sadly, some don't know better. We're taught. Toxic upbringing. Yeah, no. I plays no games when it comes to the aggression. And like I said, there are some men sitting out here in the world right now going, Anita left me clean alone. Like there was not even a conversation. Like, no, there's not even words. I don't even have words to express that if you don't know better than to not cuss me clean out or scream and yell in my face. Like if you don't know better than that, I can't teach you. I can't teach you. I can't learn you, as the old folks say. No, I have 0 tolerance for that. So that's definitely a deal breaker. Okay? Is any type of heat coming up off of you towards me. Right? You can be angry, you can be frustrated. It's what you do with it. And you better in your mind's eye say, okay, Anita's a woman. There's a way that I just cannot talk to her. Anita's a feminine woman. She's not going to out-scream me or out-cuss me. She's going to sit here quietly, and then she's going to contemplate leaving my tail. That's what you need to say to yourself. Okay? Anita will leave me where I stand if I keep this, with this behavior. So let me not go there. Let me, take some of that heat off of me because, she not doing that. Nope. He said more women need to adopt that mindset. Yeah, I kid you not. I've walked out of dates. I kid you not. And I don't care. Y'all be caring about what people think. And I don't care. If a man, I remember being in a bar once and a man, somebody bumped into the back of him and his beer like tipped, out of the cup, out of the glass, right? His beer came over the side. Hey man. And then before you know it, it was just a big aggressive scene. And it wasn't directed at me, but I literally was like, can you? Yeah, okay. And I walked clean out of there. And that man was calling me and texting me and why did you leave and what happened? There are no words. I don't have no words to describe what I just saw and what I ain't about to accept or tolerate. So that's just me. And y'all, I'm going to be frank. That's what's kept me safe. That's what was kept me safe all these years is that I have a 0 tolerance rule for stuff like that. I do not get into situations with men where they're abusing me or driving crazy with me in the car and not letting me out. Because I don't. As soon as I smell it on you, I'm good. I'm done. That is established in the beginning, though. It is. And that's why, when I show y'all the 0, so for sure. And there's a whole lot of things I established from the beginning. I don't let it go on. Men don't come in doing that. The woman sets the tone early on, for sure. Yeah. And that's me all day long. So ladies, know the difference between your pet peeves and your deal breakers, because some of you all have pet peeves and you're making those pet peeves your deal breakers. And you are probably, letting go of some average men that, they're not a bad guy, They could make you very happy, but he snores. He has a beard. He may talk with food in his mouth. I mean, those are not ideal situations, but are they deal breakers? Like, I really need you to ask yourself that. Is this a deal breaker? It's the same with height. I've dated men from 5'6" all the way up to 6'6". And while I prefer a taller man, okay, the guy who's 5'7" or 5'8" could make me incredibly happy. He could make an incredible father. Like, we are really not paying attention to the things we should be paying attention to. Like, an incredible father? Really? Like, that's really important. So this man would make an incredible father, an incredible husband, but he not sexy. He don't know how to dress. That's another one. A man whose dress may not be ideal. That's a pet peeve, but it's not a deal breaker. That's not a deal breaker for me. But some of us, I don't like the way he's dressed. I don't like his shoes, or I don't like whatever, right? Or I don't like his haircut. I mean, it's not ideal, but is it a deal breaker? Is it I can't be with him? So really think about that. Really think about that. Okay, wants, needs, and what was the other want? So I want, I don't want, and I need. Okay? Wants, I want you to have fun with that list. Write down all the things that you want in that person and in that relationship. How does that person make you feel? How do they look? What do they have? Like, just have fun writing that list, because you're not going to get most of it, right? I probably won't get 40 or 50% of my wants list. If I probably won't. And that's if I'm lucky. Don't wants are your deal breakers. So that's why I had to go back on my don't want list and really mark through some things that were pet peeves, but they weren't deal breakers. And then needs list that's the one I need you to focus on. That's the one that speaks to your very soul. What do you need from a partner and from a relationship to be your absolute best self? Because a part of this exchange is growth. I want you all to remember this more than anything else. So you all think relationships are about good sex and laughter and having fun together, and he buys me this, and she does this for me, and you think of relationships like that, right? Relationships are really containers in which we are going to grow. We're going to become better. We're going to become more patient. We're going to turn into our best self slowly over time. That's really what relationships are for. And so many of us, we choose relationships over and over and over again because deep down, subconsciously, we know we need to grow. We know we need to become more patient. We know we need to grow up, and we need to, be better. We subconsciously know that. And that's why a lot of us will choose people that are difficult. Like, we're like, man, that last relationship was a doozy, but you know what? You grew. You learned some lessons. You learned a whole lot from that last relationship, and now you know differently going into the next one. So some of us choose difficult people subconsciously because we know we need to grow. We have areas in our life that we need to grow in. That's the purpose of relationships, okay? All right. One problem I find is that if the woman really likes the man, they'll tolerate more than they would if they didn't necessarily like the guy as much. For sure. And I think every woman has been guilty of this at one point in time or another. But me, as a grown woman, that is definitely not the case. It does not matter what my chemicals say about a man. If it doesn't make sense in my mind, I'm not doing it. Period. And if anything, the chemistry I feel with a man early on is actually a red flag. Like, I take it as this is something familiar. This is a part of those lessons that I need to learn, and I don't want to do that no more. I'm good. I don't want to keep learning lessons dealing with people that I'm chemically attracted to, that I have all this chemistry with, and they're so sexy, and I feel a spark and a butterfly. I don't want to do that no more. I'm good. So now when you become grown, you figure that out. That a lot of times that chemistry early on, it's something that feels familiar, and that familiarity is something bad, not something good. It feels like home, but in the bad way, not the good way. So be mindful of that, ladies. Be mindful. Keely says, I'm 5'10". I date shorter guys. Good for you. Good for you. Can't deal with men who make noise when they're eating, though. I have misophonia. Okay, well, I understand. Don't want. Got it. That's right. Okay. Some men critique women about weight, hair, etc. as a deal breaker. Okay. I mean, and that's on them. But I definitely have weight as a deal breaker. And I'm a woman. I cannot date an obese man. I'm not sexually turned on by an obese man. I can't maintain long-term attraction to an obese man. And then, like I said, it says something deeper to me, which is I don't love myself enough to care about my health. So I don't need a man that's all cut up, that, he's got muscles everywhere and he's got a six-pack. I don't need all that. But I definitely can't date an obese man. So I would not find a Biggie Smalls attractive. I would not find a Rick Ross attractive. No. And I don't care how much money they have, because y'all know money. Yes, while I do need a man's money, money does not trump, but his money trumps everything else. No, I'm not one of those girls. No. I agree. I'm working on that. My mom says butterflies are no good. Yeah, chemistry should be seen as a red flag. Or how about this? At best, it should be seen as a yellow flag, which is cautious. Take caution. Move cautiously. Move slowly. That's what I believe butterflies or the spark should mean. It does not mean, ooh, green, go. Go as fast as you can, girl. No, it should mean yellow as in slow down. Be cautious. Because it's a reminder, it's familiar. It's reminding you of something probably bad that you've already dealt with, and subconsciously you're like, yeah, this feels familiar. This is something I dealt with before. No, that's not good. That's not good. Obesity is a deal breaker for me. Me too. Yeah, I can't do it. As a man, it's not so much a woman's weight, it's whether or not she's healthy, not obese, not flabby everywhere. Agreed. And I think a man is perfectly within his right to ask for that too, because that's what I'm asking for. I've never felt a way about men saying, hey, I want a woman who's healthy. Hey, I want a woman who's fit. I have no problem with it. And I don't understand women who do, but I guess those are the bigger women that have a problem with it. But it's just like women who say they don't want a short man. What's the difference? So no. Sometimes you don't see the red flags with butterflies. I know. But see, that's why we have to do our work. And our work is where we're able to self-reflect. Once you've done the work, you can self-reflect even through the butterflies. So I can feel a feeling about a man, a good feeling. And I can still go, uh-oh. Like I'll feel that good feeling. We'll have a great date and I can come home and go, uh-oh. Okay, let's self-reflect here. Yes, there was some, that little bit of spark. There was some chemistry there. There was some butterflies there. What could this be really telling me? See, two things can be true at once. I can have a good feeling about a man, and I can always assess what that good feeling means. So we got to learn how to do that. Good. She says, I'm working on it, Miss Anita. That's right. We got to learn how to be two things at one time. And I've gone out on a date recently where I was like, okay. All right, this is nice, right? And then I left that date and was like, okay, what is the familiarity? Because it's something about this person that's familiar. I'm drawn to them because I've been here before. And so now that's kind of where I'm at with that date. I'm unpacking everything in it. And even the phone calls, even the conversations we're having, I'm like, there's something here that's familiar. Don't overlook that, Anita. I know he's an attractive man and I know he's saying all the right things. Don't overlook that. See, two things can be true at the same time in my world. All right, good. So pet peeves versus deal breakers. You must know the difference. Don't toss out a man that could give you everything you want and need because of a pet peeve. And don't hang on to a man that has a deal breaker simply because you have chemistry with him. Nope. If it's on the don't want list, then you don't want it. So I recently met a man my age. He has a 5-year-old son. And guess what? The 5-year-old is a deal breaker because I've already raised all my kids and I don't see myself being a stepmother, at least to a 5-year-old. So I don't mind men who have children, but those children should be 16, 17 and above and older. Yeah, no, I'm not interested in being a stepmom to a young child. That's just, I've been there, done that, as they say. And so, yes, that very much is a deal breaker. And I've had some men say that, gentleman with the 5-year-old, oh, you're missing out on a really great man. You're missing out on, I'm a really good man. And I believe that, we'd be well suited for each other. But here's what I told him. And I want you all to remember this. So it's not just about the man. It's about a lifestyle, right? There's a lifestyle that I now live, that I'm accustomed to living, that I really enjoy. And you have to ask yourself, are you willing to give up that lifestyle? Is this man worth giving up that lifestyle that you now have? And the answer is no. The answer is no. I love the lifestyle that I have. I love being in this place of my life where I don't have to worry about noise and sticky fingers and, messiness everywhere. Like, I'm kind of over that. I've lived through that season, and now I'm in a new season, and I'm really enjoying this new season. So yeah, don't be afraid to tell a man no, because there's lifestyle difference. There's incompatibility in you all's lifestyle. That matters. That matters. So, again, okay. All right. He says, that's why taking your time getting to know one another is paramount. I agree. And I do not rush. He says, stop rushing things. Talking about it doesn't take that long to know if he wants you. It takes time to really get to know someone. I agree. And I do take my time. I'm in no rush. And I feel like I'm one of the lucky women in the world that, I'm older, I've had children, I've been married. I'm in absolutely no rush. I feel like it's a blessing because I'm like, man, I can really just, take my time. I can date men for a whole year and, there's no clock ticking. Life is good. I'm in a good place with all the things in my life. So I feel really, really blessed. Now, my heart goes out to women in the 30 to 40 range. Like if they've never been married or they want to have kids. Oh my God, my heart cries out for you all because I get it. I was there at one point in time in my life. And so I know people could feel that energy that was like, oh my God, I've got to find somebody, like that was an energy that I led with. And it was unattractive. Like I can admit that now. It was a very unattractive energy. But yeah, I'm in no hurry. So, yep, I meet a man and he has a 5-year-old. I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. Yeah, kids are a deal breaker, even adult kids. Okay, Keely says she wants a man with no kids. And I have met 5 of them recently. 5 men my age, 50 plus, that had no children at all. 3 of them had not been married. So, go figure. I don't date men with kids, 5 and under. I always say they are with the mother. Yeah, they might be. Deal breaker, couch potato. I like to go out. Okay, that's a deal breaker for you. Bad teeth. Deal breaker or pet peeve? Yes, bad teeth. Me too. Okay, is that a deal breaker or is that a pet peeve? I love a man's beautiful teeth. Oh, I love a man's beautiful teeth, y'all. That's a tough one. Would I consider that a deal breaker or a pet peeve? Oh, that's a tough one because y'all don't know how much I need a man's mouth to be right. I gotta ponder that one. I really do. I gotta ponder that one. Ooh, y'all making me think on this live. Okay, but yes, know the difference. What's a pet peeve? What's a deal breaker? Because some people are making pet peeves deal breakers, and they may not be. Oh, she says deal breaker. Yeah. Ooh, Lord, y'all. All right, but know the difference. So you might need to make a separate list. So deal breakers go on the don't want list, but you can make a list of pet peeves and maybe how you might manage those pet peeves, how you might deal with them. But I know one of my pet peeves, oh man, and I initially thought it was a deal breaker, but then I had to just shake myself like, Anita, this is not a deal breaker, but it is a pet peeve. So I dated a man who loved to use the snooze button. And I am not a snooze button type of gal. I don't like noise, especially first thing in the morning. And his alarm would go off and it would be very loud and he would hit the snooze And so I'm thinking he's getting up and he's going to work, and he falls back asleep, and then it would go off again and he would hit it again. And I was like, okay, he's getting up now. And he would fall back asleep. And I mean, he would do that over and over. It was maddening. It was maddening. Y'all, one day he did it over and over. And I remember I sat straight up. I said, look, this has got to end. And he was like, what? I'm getting up. I'm going into work. I said, no, I'm talking about the relationship. like I was so pissed. I was like, this has to end. I cannot do this. Like, you need to get up when your alarm goes off, period. Why do you keep hitting the snooze button? But then I, regained my sense of self, and I said, okay, that's a pet peeve. And you'd have to figure out a workaround for that pet peeve, because it would drive me bonkers. So, okay. Okay, she says, if it's a company with bad breath, no. Okay. Anything that's fixable should be a pet peeve versus deal breaker, considering that no one is perfect. I agree. And that's my point. Thank you so much for helping me make my point. If it's fixable or solvable, like, it is what it is. And even though I have become more of a morning person throughout the years, I even think that if a person's a night owl, that may not even be fixable. Like, maybe that's just who they are. That's how they come. And I just have to accept it. Right? I'm just going to accept it. I'll create a workaround and I'll accept it. But you all, I have to be the bearer of this bad news. You all are imperfect. So is the man that you're finally going to end up with. And so there are going to be things about him that get on your nerves. Right? They get on your nerves. There's things that you do that get on his nerves. And here's a great assignment. I want you to write down all of the things about you that someone else may see as a pet peeve. I got a ton of them. I got a ton of stupid, quirky things that I do, the way I talk, things that I say that men have been like, oh my God, if you say y'all one more time, like I know it. I know it. So a man would have to live with that. And I'm going to say y'all. Okay. All right. Good talk. Thank you so much for joining me. I especially thank Mr. Bounds 72212. Thank you so much for having a male perspective on this live. I appreciate you. Thank you for the follow, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm headed to the post office, but I look forward to seeing you all in the next live. And as always, stay open to love.